Billy Graham. So why is Billy Graham on the list? Billy Graham is on the list because he reached more people through his crusades and through George Beverly Shea, who was his singer, than everybody else in this course combined. Billy Graham reached more people. He was born in 1918, William Franklin Billy Graham, near Charlotte, North Carolina. Became a Christian at age 16, 1934. 1944, he hosted his first radio show called Songs in the Night. 1949, his Greater Los Angeles revival ran for 8 weeks. And actually, he first came to the public eye in 1945 Youth for Christ. They had a Memorial Day service in a football field in Chicago, somewhere in one of those Midwestern cities. And he was given the job of being the preacher for the event, and like 75,000 people showed up. So the even new evangelical movement thought, I think we got something here. And so he went on tour of the whole United States. 1950, his show, The Hour of Decision, began. It would eventually be broadcast on 1,000 stations nationwide. This is before the web, when they had to syndicate your show. 1950, the founding of the Billy Graham Evangelistic Association. 1954, his crusade in London drew 2 million people. That's 2 million people who actually came out to see it. And our own Gene Bowen was there. 1954, Graham appears on the cover of Time magazine. 1956, Graham and Harold Okenga co-founded Christianity Today, the magazine which still exists. 1957, we have the split between fundamentalists under Carl McIntyre and evangelicals under Billy Graham and Harold Okenga, which has never come back together again. 1983, he receives the Presidential Medal of Freedom from Ronald Reagan. 1991, he speaks to 250,000 people in Central Park. So through his Billy Graham crusades, Graham brought Christian gospel music to more people than any person in the history of the world. George Beverly Shea was his soloist. He is still alive. I think he recently celebrated his 100th birthday. He still occasionally sings, and he's really quite extraordinary. But there's Billy Graham and Franklin Graham there. Graham has preached in person to more people around the world than any Protestant who's ever lived. As of 1993, 2.5 people had accepted Jesus as their personal Savior. But the real figure I was interested in here was, as of 2002, Graham's lifetime audience topped 2 billion. That's with a B. So usually, just to be non-controversial, I say he's the most successful evangelist since Paul of Tarsus. Paul of Tarsus didn't reach anywhere near 2 billion people, so I will leave it.
Yeah, did Billy Graham ever get shipwrecked twice?
So he's included on this list for providing a wide platform for the performance of Christian gospel music. The chief soloist for the Billy Graham Crusades is George Beverly Shea, born in 1909 in Canada. So yes, he is over 100 years old. His long association with Graham began as early as 1942, when Shea sang at Youth for Christ rallies when Billy Graham was the preacher. He also sang on Graham's radio shows, Hour of Decision and Songs in the Night. So he was there at the very beginning with Graham. When Graham got his start, George Beverly Shea was there. His 2 most popular solos are The Wonder of It All and How Great Thou Art. And when I think of How Great Thou Art, I think of George Beverly Shea. It is said that George Beverly Shea has sung live to more people than anyone else, over 220 million people. That's quite extraordinary when you think of Paul McCartney and the Rolling Stones and Elvis, Michael Jackson. That George Beverly Shea has sang to more people live than anyone else. 1978, he was inducted into the Gospel Music Association Gospel Music Hall of Fame. And in 2011, he received a Lifetime Achievement Grammy Award. So a pretty impressive guy.